Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Krista. I am a makeup artist and busy working mom, and I want to teach women how to create a signature look with a minimalist capsule beauty wardrobe. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about everything sanitation as far as beauty goes. Within the last few years, sanitation has become a major issue, especially with the rise of social media and more people becoming makeup artists or gurus, things like that. Sanitation is something that's often overlooked. So I'm going to share with you some of the tools that you should know on how to keep your makeup bag, your tools, everything nice and clean to prevent any infections, spreading any germs or bacteria, and just keeping an overall very neat and clean makeup bag. So if you want to learn these tips, keep watching. First thing I want to talk about is what you will need to keep your makeup tools, brushes, makeup sanitized. Ultimately, you do want to wash your brushes and sponges specifically with a brush soap and a sponge soap. So Beautyblender sells their own soap specifically for sponges, and there are lots of different types of brush soap options out there. You could do something like you can even use the Beautyblender soap. I have mine in my bathroom, so I will share with you a picture of it, but you can use your Beautyblender soap for your brushes. There are other hard soaps like that. You could also use like Castile soap. I think it's called Dr. Bronner's. I would definitely stick to the unscented, just very basic one, just to avoid any irritation on the skin with the fragrance and everything like that. But also, you will need some 70% alcohol. This is great for cleaning any metal tools like your tweezers, your makeup scissors, or your eyebrow scissors. You could even clean your nail trimmers, things like that, with alcohol. Because your metal tools are not porous, they're just a very flat surface with no pores for things to soak into, and alcohol will do just fine. If you really want to invest in a sanitation routine, I would recommend oh gosh, what is that called? I had one when I was an esthetician, so oh gosh, what is it called? A UV sanitizing little, let me look at it. Let me look up what it's called. It is a UV sanitizing, like a box that is, you can put all of your tools in. Oh, it's a sterilizer. That's right. So there are major differences between disinfecting and sanitizing. Disinfecting means you are eliminating most germs and bacteria on surfaces. It is not sterilized. So when you hear people say, oh, it's sterilized, they would need to have one of these sterilizer boxes or machines to actually put their products in to kill all the bacteria on the surface. Disinfect means you are killing most of the bacteria and germs that are on the surface. Sterilize means everything is killed. All of the bacteria, germs, whatever's little microscopic little organisms living on your things, that they're all wiped out. So that's the important difference to know. I'm going to be honest, you are supposed to wash your brushes at least once a week, which is, I feel like, very unrealistic, especially if you're busy and you have one set of brushes. So if you don't have the time to do that, you do still want to keep your brushes clean, because the longer you let your brushes go without cleaning, the bristles will start to become very brittle and just not work as well. So if you do decide to forego the actual washing of the brushes, which I do understand because it takes forever to wash them. I hate it. I do it when I have clients, but I absolutely hate doing it for myself. I will do the shortcut version. We listen and we don't judge, right? But I will do the shortcut version, and that is why I have Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. So this will disinfect your brushes. You put it in a little cup, any type of little cup. So the thing that the Beautyblender comes in, something like that is good. I think they sell their own version of it with one of those little things you can rub it against and it will get all the makeup out. This will dry right away. I don't know if it's alcohol free. You don't need to rinse. It's basically you just pour it out either on a towel or in a little cup, run your brush through it, and then you let it dry. And the drying process takes maybe a minute or two. So I do love this method because it does clean your brushes, disinfects, and it's like a good short-term solution. The last thing you need, and this is completely up to you, is, and what I like to do is I like to have a makeup towel or several makeup towels. So I just have this makeup towel here. This is all it's used for. I will clean my brushes and clean products and things with this towel. And then after I'm done using it, I will throw it in the wash. So I have maybe 3 to 5 of these towels that I will just circulate through and then just throw them in the wash as I use them like a regular towel. That way I'm not using paper towels and wasting and all of that. I think I bought this this is Room Essentials from Target. I think 2 or 3 of these was $5. And you can go on Amazon. There's tons of different options for bulk purchasing and things for very reasonable prices. So that's another thing you want to have. The next thing I see a lot happen, especially with amongst family members or even high school kids, will do this, and that is share their makeup. That is something you never want to do. No matter how clean you keep your face, how much you wash your face and do all the things, you will still have bacteria. There will be dead skin, mites, because we do have mites that live in our lashes, in our hair, and on our body surface. So when we do share with others, we're either giving them all of that, or they're giving us that. So as convenient as it is to share products, I highly recommend not, especially the eye makeup, sponges, things that directly touch your skin, and especially things that touch open parts of your body. So eyes, nose, mouth, you don't want to share anything that touches those areas specifically. Foundation, as long as you're pouring it or pumping it out, that's fine. Powder, you don't really want to do it, but it's okay because it doesn't harbor bacteria because it is a dry product. But things like creams, like eye pencils, lipsticks, lip gloss, all of those things will accumulate, especially food, lip things. If people are touching up after they eat, those food products will be in their products. And even for myself, I don't like to apply lip products again. I don't even like to touch up, but especially after eating, you want to maybe wash your face, brush your teeth, and not wash your face, but rinse your lips off, wipe your lips off, brush your teeth before applying your lip products, because those little particles will get into your products. And which takes me to my next point of shelf life. So, shelf life is a very important thing that I feel like most people may not know about, but most products, other than powders, are not meant to be used longer than 1 to 12 months, depending on the product. So, when you go shopping for products, you'll see on usually the back of the box, there's a little square with a jar, and then it has a number on it. It will usually say 3, 6, 12, 24, something like that. That is the shelf life. So from the moment you open it, that's when that clock starts ticking. So if it says 1, that means 1 month. If it says 3 months, 12 months, and so on and so forth. What I like to do with products that they have a limited shelf life, are I will write the date that I open them on the product. So that way I know, especially with mascaras, lip glosses, you don't want to keep those longer than actually, and it says there's a suggested time, but if you're using them regularly, and if, like I said, you say you use the lip gloss regularly after you eat, you want to dispose of those and replace a little bit more frequently than the suggested time frame. So just something to keep in mind. And then also, you don't want to hold on to products that are, even though you don't maybe haven't opened them, you don't want to hold on to them for years. They will not be good. Even hold lipsticks for 10 years. even if you haven't opened them, the shelf life has already passed. So something to keep in mind when going through your makeup bag or your makeup collection. Shelf life is definitely an important aspect to keep in mind with your products. So the next thing that you want to make sure when applying your makeup, you always want to have clean hands, a clean surface before starting. So whatever we touch before we start our makeup, that will eventually make its way into the products, our face, on our brushes. So it's important to wash your hands, to dry them too, because wet can actually disrupt some products' powders. If you put something wet on it that's really wet, it will change the texture of the product and it won't work as effectively as if it weren't touched with wet hands or a wet sponge or something like that. So when cleaning your products, so when you have products like sponges, things that are used wet, brushes when you wash them or when they are wet, you want to make sure that you have a place to properly store them that are very porous, like a beauty blender will hold, it's meant to hold water for a long time. And thus, if it's in a enclosed space with no ventilation, it will start to get moldy. So like anything else. So we definitely want to make sure that you have somewhere to store these that have proper ventilation, that when you are washing your brushes or using them wet, that you are able to give them time in well circulated areas with a lot of airflow so that they're able to dry and thus they won't get moldy. And then also what can happen with wet brushes, if they are stored or wet and then placed like this, the water can get into this part here, and just where all of the glue is holding the hair together, and it can start to cause shedding. So it will break down the glue that's holding, it will break down the glue that's holding your brush together. So you definitely want to make sure when you are washing or cleaning your products, especially specifically your brushes, that you lay them flat on a flat surface and you lay them with the brush extended over so it's not touching anything. So you don't want it to lie like this. You want it to lie like this, if that makes sense. So how do we clean our tools? What I like to do when cleaning tweezers, metal, tools of that nature, I will put alcohol in a spray bottle and put the tool over a towel, spray it heavily and get every crevice, and then just wipe it down. And I would do this before doing your brushes, so that way you're not putting any more germs onto that tool. You do want to let it dry, and if you don't have a sanitizer, one of those UV boxes, you can put them back into your makeup bag, and which you also want to clean and just wipe down with alcohol and then put them back in your makeup bag. When it comes to brushes, we've already touched on it, but with cleaning your brushes with actual water and soap, you want to, once you get the brush wet, keep the brush facing down. So that will ensure that the water does not get up into the ferrule, which I did not say before, but the ferrule here, so it doesn't start breaking down the glue and ultimately ruining your brush. Once you wet it, always have the hairs facing down, and then you can swirl it on your hand or on one of those little silicone brush cleaner thingies. Dip it in your brush soap and then just continue to run it through until the water is clear. When you are done, softly wring out your brush hairs, and then you're going to just place them on the counter. Again, hairs off of the counter, just kind of hanging over the counter so that way it can properly dry. When you are cleaning your sponges, again, you just want to wet them, run them in the sponge cleaner, and just run your fingers through it. You'll see all of that product come out. It's not going to look the way it did before, before you start using it. It'll turn into more of a salmony pink color, which is fine. I think the dyes will also come out that it was dyed with, which is totally fine. But again, those are meant to be replaced every few months. So I think along with the dye, the integrity of the sponge will also dwindle the more you use it. So that is all I have for you for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I do lots of easy makeup tutorials, 5-minute looks, 10-minute looks, how to use one palette several ways, things like that, as well as videos like this about just sanitation, makeup education, things like that. So I would love for you to subscribe. Please like this video if it was useful for you, and then comment what you want to see next. I'd love to give you what you want, answer any questions you may have. So please feel free to comment down below. But thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos and support my channel. And I will see you in the next one.